Hello everyone, as has been the case every Saturday for a while, we take another dive into the mysterious world of the Forgotten Languages website, exploring its ties with UFOs. Today's intricately intertwined topics include Denebian probes and disclosure attempted through memes. But before that, I would appreciate a lot if you could like, subscribe if you have not yet, and share the video. This way we can spread the awareness of the UFO phenomenon, its reality, and our interaction with non-human intelligence as we draw near the actual disclosure. Thank you. We continue our journey through year 2016. On the 13th February, this site posted an article titled Denebian Probes on Knowledge, Communication and Time. We have heard about the mysterious Denebians before, a civilization originating from the star system of Denebalgebi in the constellation of Capricornus. While so far we have not heard about a direct interaction with the Denebians, we have indeed heard about their probes being present on the Earth. Perhaps this is something rumored to exist and originating from an underwater base in the Atlantic Ocean, like in the famous Fortune League of 2024, or maybe 3? In any case, let's see what the English bits of the text say this time.
In our region of space-time, if probe Q sends predicate message M to probe P, when P reads M, P knows that Q knows M. Within a Denebian cage, P knows that Q knows M even if the message never arrives. Each individual probe must be seen as a process. If process P knows fact F, then F must be true in all worlds indistinguishable by P from the actual world. Humans are also processes. If they know a fact F, they will know that fact in all replica worlds, provided they are unable to distinguish their own world from any of the replica worlds. This is known as a Denebian cage.
The text is heavily mathematic, but we are still able to draw some conclusions here. The main one is that humans could be unable to discern between the real and an artificial world. The same principle was already mentioned in this series, and it was used in the fabled XVIS system, which generates artificial experience indistinguishable from reality. Could it be reverse engineered from something like the Denebian technology, one which uses us as processes? Perhaps. And next we read.
However, humans differ from a Denebian probe in one essential way. For a Denebian probe, if process P knows F, then P forever knows F. Denebian probes never forget, while humans do. Communication is necessary for gaining knowledge, yet not all messages cause knowledge to be increased. In extreme conditions with limited energy supply, the purpose of message exchange is to transfer knowledge. Therefore, it is natural that a process knows predicate message M before it may send M. That is, Q may send predicate message M only if Q knows M. There's no other way.
Once again, we see the limitations of humanity. We indeed forget from really irrelevant bits of our daily lives to sometimes quite important details, especially with longer periods of time. Technology does not forget. Even our hard drives can store information for quite some time, and here we are speculating about technology which may be proverbial light years ahead of our own. And it is indeed the case that quite a lot of our communication does not involve sharing and spreading knowledge. Perhaps an alien civilization, especially a post-biological one, could get rid of such inefficiencies and instead use communication only to exchange knowledge. The next bit sounds like XVIS overlapping with the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics to me.
The very moment you observe a Denebian probe, you become a process within the Denebian cage, and the replica world becomes indistinguishable for you from the real world. Behaviors include all events on the system, yet not all events are visible for P, so that, with respect to P, two behaviors are equivalent at some point in time if the sequence of events, up to that time, visible to P in each behavior are identical. It may well be the case that human brain operates as a Denebian cage such that we will never be able to distinguish the real world from any replica world.
The last paragraph is what I find both extremely interesting and chilling at the same time. If we lived in a simulation, it is most likely we would never be able to tell that we are. forever confined to the curated and created environment with no way of telling we are literally run on some alien server hiding in a more baseline reality. And it is a notion quite frequently encountered in ufology actually. Moving on to the 19th of February, we can read the article titled Why Disclosure Through Memes Failed, XVIS, Memetics and its Miseries. Now, at the first glance, what do the two articles have in common? Well, we have mentioned XVIS earlier on in the video. Could it be that the system could operate similar to a code injection machine adjusting the simulation? Let's see if this is indeed what the article is about.
Summing up, accepting simple explanations is rewarding and creates pleasant feelings of understanding in an otherwise stressed society. XVIS is a powerful tool for non-invasive psychological belief forming, encoding, and false memory formation. Society has never been so ready to accept specific distorted views of reality. Memes allow to modify brain connectivity in specific ways and to elicit neurodynamics processes that finally encode beliefs. We can so far force a target brain to filter incoming information the way we wish, and we can get that target brain to distort and transmits further the information we want to.
So far, we do not get as far as physical reality distortion or manipulation, but it would seem that something like XVIS could be a very useful tool of social engineering. My most nagging thought applies to the scale of such an endeavor. Previously we saw XVIS as something between an MRI machine and a room. Here we have implications of something far bigger than that.
Conspiracy theory may be treated as a memoplex that is easily activated by various pieces of information, giving it meaning consistent with the memoplex responses. From neurobiological perspective, learning requires adaptation, changing functional connectivity, adjusting physical structure of the brain. Learning is thus energy-consuming, requires effort that should be carried out only when there are potential benefits. Social networking allows us to add new information to the existing pool of interacting memes or attractor states, the so-called memoplex, which is then replicated further. As we control the information being fed, we obviously control what beliefs will finally be encoded in millions of brains.
In relation to these passages, one could argue that everything is possibly a psyop, including this video and the entire Forgotten Languages corpus as well. And perhaps it is exactly that, and we would be none the wiser or able to tell if this was indeed the case. Perhaps the website is programming us through its fascinating content. But we have not made it anywhere to disclosure just yet, aside from the psyop. The next paragraph, with its mention of conspiracy theories, brings us closer to this destination.
Once a set of distorted memory states is entrenched, it becomes a powerful force, attracting and distorting all information that has some associations with these states, creating even broader basins of attractors. Encoding of information in this way enhances the memoplex and is one of the reasons why conspiracy theories are so persistent. Brain activity evoked by hearing or reading words evokes internal imagery at a high level of invariant, multimodal object recognition. Once all targeted brains share the same memes, truth management becomes an easy task.
This text explains why so many people involved in the disclosure movement are so cautious and skeptical regarding any piece of information, any video, and any photograph. Especially these days, with the rise of the AI, we could very easily be provided with fabricated evidence, and yet one so convincing that it could push our convictions in a carefully directed way, like invisible masters of puppets, messengers of deception. It seems that abductions could also be used as a psyop.
We failed to encode alien abduction paradigm in other Western societies, mainly due to the fact that we failed in deploying PSVs in those areas. The Rendlesham Forest experiment dramatically proved that only previously treated targeted brains were prone to interpret the experience the way we expected, while those untreated brains were immune. Same for black flying triangles, a meme we could not plant into European minds because cultural conditioning was, and is, working against us. Actually, the conclusion drawn by neighboring countries was that the Belgian police and army are just naive, if not straight stupid. Cultural rivalry was at work here.
We have already heard the theory that the Rendlesham Forest incident could have been engineered. This text applies the same reasoning to the famous Belgian UFO wave of 1989 and 1990, during which there were many witnesses, including very credible people, mentioning sightings of triangular craft. The text suggests that these may have been paradigm shifter vehicles or PSVs, similar to the 2008 Stephenville UFO incident over Texas in the USA. The last paragraph of the English text seems to underline the fact that disclosure, if it is indeed curated for us, also dances a thin line between being believable and going overboard. We often heard the reasoning saying that catastrophic disclosure could result in a full societal collapse, and perhaps it indeed would. Humans are not exactly fully reasonable and logical beings.
Simple explanation of complex phenomena have thus a great advantage even when they are quite naive, as long as they do not lead to behaviors that are obviously harmful or significantly decrease chances for reproduction.
Both these articles made me think of the UFO whistleblower Matthew Brown and what he said, that we live in a carefully curated reality, that we are literally fed reality someone else wants us to believe and function in. In this context, the line between such constructs created by aliens or humans with not exactly the most benevolent intentions in mind becomes blurry and possibly even irrelevant. And what do you think, dear viewers? Do you think we may live in a simulation, or perhaps we are trapped in a matrix of someone else's making? Let me know in the comment section down below. Next weekend I will also report on the upcoming Disclosure Day movie by Steven Spielberg, so if this is something up your alley, stay tuned. I also started releasing space-themed videos involving interesting visuals presented in the Space Engine software, so feel free to check those out if this is of interest to you. That's all for today, thank you for watching, and I will see you soon in another video. Take care.